In this video we are going to discuss the most basic of color theory, and that is just hexadecimal values and RGB values. So you have RGB and RGBA. In this case we're just going to ignore the A, which stands for alpha. Alpha means how transparent the item is, and we're just going to focus on RGB. So R stands for red, G is for green, B is for blue. For some of the future videos that we're going to be doing, we're going to be looking at creating grayscales depending on geographical data, and there's a lot of applications on using grayscale images in computer graphics, mostly around different kinds of maps, be it normal maps, height maps, heat maps, all kinds of stuff. But to understand the scaling of the items, we need to understand a couple of fundamental things. The first part is that the colors on the RGB is 256 colors on each channel. So that will be R, G, and B. So it spans from 0, 0, 0. So we can put 0, 0, 0 here. And you'll see that 0, 0, 0 is black. Then 255 on each is going to be white, right? So 255, 255, 255, and there's our white. So the interesting thing to note here is that if I make all of the colors channels the same value, the R, the G, and the B, I'm always working with grayscale. So if I grab this thing and I just move it down the edge and you look at the RGB values, it's always the same value. So if you want to calculate the grayscale value of a color, all you need to do is calculate one of the values and then assign that value to the R and the G and the B channels. In a lot of cases we use hexadecimal for color values, and you're going to need to feel comfortable on converting decimals to hexadecimals, one being a base 10 and the other one being a base 16. And depending on the language that you use, there will be different tools that you can use to help yourself do that. One of the easiest ways to kind of play with the hexadecimals here is to pick something like Visual Studio Code that I've got here, and we just set the body of the background of a body to an hexadecimal value, and you can also have this color picker here that you can play with and see how does that affect the hexadecimal values. The important part to note here is that the hexadecimal value is actually broken up into 3 separate values, just like we have the RGB. So the first channel is the R, so we say I want 255 on the R, 0 on my green, 0 on my blue, and I get a full red. Which means that if I say put 0 on my red and 255 on my green, I get my green. And if I put 255 on my blue, I get my blue. And so the rest of the colors is actually just a mixture between red, green, and blue. And you have to understand these fundamentals. RGB, red, green, blue, spans from 0 to 255. You have 3 channels, one for red, one for green, one for blue. If you make them all the same value, you continuously work on a grayscale. When you make them different values, you're basically mixing the color palette, as you can see here, if this thing will just behave. Right, and so that'll be my red value, my green value, and my blue value. And when I mix those together, that's what I get. Alright, easy enough.